The hunt is on for Polly. Jughead finally finds a home. And can a show have too many hashtags? I'm Sasha Pearl-Raver, and this is Screen Junkies News. Hello, Riverdale fans. It's that time where Roth Cornett and I get to geek out over our new favorite guilty pleasure.
Two Bettys.
That's right.
I'll say this.
What?
This is good, pulpy, fun. I feel no guilt. I have no shame.
I love it. I love that about you.
Yeah.
You know who does have some shame, though?
All of them.
All of them. But let's start with the very beginning of the show. So the show starts and we go to sort of like this Pleasantville version of Riverdale. And it's like a dinner scene that's very Norman Rockwell. And Jughead is in his old school sort of like comic book outfit.
Yeah.
And he's about to carve a turkey. And suddenly the knife has gone. And Archie comes in and says, "Why did you stab me in the back?"
Yeah. And here's something interesting. Well, there's a couple of things. First, it's clearly the show referencing how it has twisted and played upon the original comic.
Yes.
Now, the original comic series was very much that image. It was iconic Americana. It was all like the idea that America had of itself in like the 50s that we saw in the TV shows of that time. Like, it's not necessarily that was life for everyone. I think when you're a kid and you see reruns of Leave It to Beaver, you're like, life was so good then.
God, let's try that again.
It was the vision of life at that time.
Right.
America's vision of itself. And that's what he's saying, like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if it was all this? But actually, this is the real Riverdale. And it's the modernized version, but also the stabbing Archie in the back. So does he have guilt about Betty?
That was my first thought.
Or is this a deeper issue?
Well, okay, this was
don't know what went down with them.
So this was a Jughead heavy episode, you guys, and thank God. So there were a number of moments where I was like, OMG. Okay, so a dear friend of mine works on the show, and we had dinner, and she was like, all right, you can ask.
You have intel?
I do. She said, you can ask 3 questions. By the way, I'm having dinner with her again next week, and she said, you get 3 more questions next week. So I am opening this up right now. Comment, tweet at Sasha Pearl-Raver, at Roth Cornett. Let us know what you want those 3 questions to be. But the 3 questions that I asked, one of them was, is Jughead an unreliable narrator? Is he actually telling the story from prison? Here were the moments that got me. We see where Jughead has been living. He's been living under a stairway at the school, which is so sad. And Archie finds out, and he sort of brings him to this broom closet where he's been living, and we see there's a number of books scattered around. Did you notice what one of the books was?
No.
It was Kafka's Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis, a book which is about a man who eventually turns into an insect and has all of this shame, all of this guilt about like the underbelly that he has become and like what he is turning into.
Yes, but it's also about the people around him attacking him because they don't understand what he is.
Yes.
And that because they are attacking the perceived monster versus the real human man who's under the illusion of the monster. And it's about how we attack what we don't understand.
So there's the question, though. We're getting real nerdy. Is he the illusion, or has he somehow been basically, like, I started thinking all of these things, like, is he covering up for his father? Which we got a big old thing at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on? What is actually happening here? Roth, what do you think?
Well, first of all, what did your friend say?
Okay, wait. Oh, also, I mean, this is obviously so spoiler heavy, so let's just go to the end of the episode. End of the episode, also very Skeet Ulrich heavy.
Yeah.
We see Skeet drunk in his trailer, and he walks past a closet, and he has Jason's Letterman jacket.
So here, first of all, I need to know if your friend said that he's an unreliable narrator.
So these are the 3 questions that I asked. Question number 1 was, is Jughead an unreliable narrator? Question number 2 was, where the hell is Reggie? That I got a very solid answer to.
Okay.
And question 3 was, is Jason Blossom actually alive?
Okay. We need to answer these questions. Do we want to tease them and leave the answers to the end of this video? Let's do that.
Okay, remind me later.
We're going to do that. Okay. We will get to them, though. We're not being jerks. We will get to them.
But let's go back
talk about Jughead.
Jughead, whose real name, by the way, because I started doing research about this. Why is his dad called FP? I'm like, why? What does that stand for? So Jughead's real name is Forsyth Pendleton Jones III, making his father Forsyth Pendleton II. His sister, who they call Jellybean.
Yeah.
How bummed would you be if that was your nickname?
I think it's super cute. I think you can call me Jellybean.
Okay, Jellybean Cornet.
Yay.
Well, her real name is Forsythia. So Forsyth Pendleton Jones III sounds like it's a family that comes from money.
A lot of money, yeah. Go ahead.
No, please.
Well, here's and then Jughead has always worn the crown.
Always worn the crown.
So here's the thing. 3 things. 1, Jughead is quickly becoming my favorite character on the show. Rapidly.
Cole Sprouse, crushing it.
2, the stabbing in the back thing to me was also, it was a hint that he is feeling some level of guilt. Now, of course, he is dating Betty. Archie, although he's not admitting it, he was throwing some shade and seemed to be a little bit jealous and having feelings. It's like and this always happens. This always happens. And you guys, you know what I'm talking about if you guys date. You either send the psychic email that you're moving on and then suddenly the person is interested again. Or you actually move on and suddenly they're interested. But anyway, so that could be, or it's deeper. We still don't know exactly what went down between them to create the rift in the first place.
Sure. Well, he's obviously, throughout this entire episode, he's trying to help his dad. He's trying to get his dad sober. He gets his father his job back working for Fred Andrews at the construction company. That we find out there's every single one of these families is connected.
Yeah.
So the Jones and the Andrews connection is they used to be buddies. They used to own the construction company together. He couldn't keep his stuff together. Now he's gone. But at the end of the episode, he's living with the Andrews.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, you're friends, but you're shameful, but you're stabbing each other in the back. Like, what is actually going on? The Blossoms and the Coopers, that got...
The Hatfields and the McCoys.
That got out of control. And thank you so much for pulling that picture of the English hunting party where they all went out looking for Polly. Yes. So let's leave Jughead for a second and go to...
Here's my question really quickly. What were they going to do if they found her? Shoot her and string her up?
They were going to release the hounds.
They had the hounds.
It was amazing. You've got like the sort of Twin Peaks search party, and then you've got the full English countryside search party looking for Polly, who escaped from the
asylum.
Troubled girls last week.
Sainthood of virgins.
And where is she?
She's in the attic. Literally in the attic, you guys.
She's not a flower in the attic. She's Polly in the attic. Which was so creepy.
Yeah. And so spot on for what we've been talking about. And also then we once again have to play the game of who's the craziest Cooper? Because now it feels to me like maybe it's Polly.
So
like maybe she really is sick.
Okay, that's so interesting because Polly basically tells her sister, like, here's what's going on. My parents want me to give the baby up for adoption. I don't feel like I'm safe. She's hiding in the attic. I'm like, if you're not safe, don't hide in the house, dummy. But then Betty sort of asks her parents covertly, without them knowing that she's got this information, where would the baby live, blah, blah, blah. And the Coopers just be lying
left and right.
Although Hal said nothing in that scene. It was Alice who was talking.
It's true, but I think that what we've learned is we cannot trust a single word the Coopers say.
Can't.
And Alice is always playing a game. Always playing a game. I do love sort of the showdowns between the different factions on the show that are building up. But I want to return to Jughead for one quick little minute.
I love him.
I love him so much, and I'm so glad that they now are trying to get him in a proper home, and he's not living in a closet.
Well, he's living on an air mattress in Archie's bedroom, but it's better than a closet.
I think that we're being set up now to believe that maybe Jughead did it, and that your theory is correct, and that he's narrating this story from jail. But even if he is narrating the story from jail, I don't think that he ultimately will have been guilty. He maybe took the fall for his dad. But Jughead, I don't think committed murder. I don't think he has that in him. Also, I'll be honest, I don't think any of the main characters from the original Archie comic book series are going to be gone next season.
Agreed, 1,000%. And that was actually what I started thinking. That's why Skeet, I thought, became a more interesting, FP became a more interesting possible suspect. Although the way they're establishing that, they talked so much about him getting the wife back.
Well, he could have just been burning the car because the car was full of the drugs from the serpents.
And he's picking up his drugs and taking the jacket because, hey, this is a nice jacket.
Yeah.
Although, is it because he was drunk? How dumb do you have to be to take home a souvenir from a
murder,
right,
and put it in your closet?
Yeah.
Unless somebody's framing him. And that, I think, is probably what's really happening, because he's such a drunk and he probably has no idea that that's in his closet.
Yeah.
So someone is either framing him or framing Jughead.
And then, but going back to the Jughead thing, so we also found out that he was arrested for lighting the school on fire 6 years earlier.
So obviously there's an arson connection, right? Which is why they would assume maybe he was burning the car. But he has, first of all, now the Coopers are in it. I mean, the Andrews are in it because they've created a fake alibi.
This was actually probably my favorite moment of last night's episode. So in order to get Jughead...
No one in this town likes the law. I will say that. No one adheres to the law. No one has any interest in the law. Have you noticed?
I mean... Well, they're doing what they got to do to survive. So Fred Andrews, Luke Perry, who's also so great, basically comes up with an alibi for Jughead as to where he was the week of the murder. And he says that he was working at the construction company, makes a fake time card for him. And his his son says, "You've done this a lot."
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of nefarious business.
So many shenanigans
going up and down. But the biggest thing too that we have not talked about is pregnant Polly, hanging it out in the attic, is now going to be sort of adopted by the Blossoms because they find out that she is pregnant with Jason's child. And there was an OMG moment of Cheryl's face when she found out that her brother's baby was inside Miss Polly Cooper.
And look, as many times as they have come out and said, including last week with Trevor, where he said, no, like these are siblings that relying on each other. They have crazy parents. They're just really close, which I believe because I think that when siblings come from traumatic backgrounds, they get really close. They bond. They're like trench mentality. However, I'm sorry, that read like jealousy. That really read like I cannot.
She was like sobbing, like, "Why are you pregnant with his baby and I'm not pregnant with his baby?"
I still have feelings that there may be some kind of flowers in the attic, incest business going on.
1,000%. And we still, there's all kinds of stuff with that. But what did you think about the fact that the Blossoms sort of offered to take in Polly, and then Cheryl shows up at Pops and is like, "Girl, you better run.
Yeah.
You better run fast and far."
I think that Cheryl is quickly becoming one of the more interesting characters. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that they're setting her up as this arch villain. But of course, none of that's always going to come from pain. And we're going to find out how bad her background is. And then... Right. The parents are awful, and she's quickly becoming a more sympathetic character. And I think that what we're finding out, and this is how I'm reading it now, is that there is some kind of massive cyclical maple syrup land grab
This is amazing. She literally has maple syrup land grab written on her favor.
In which the different factions and families in the town have been taking power and money and losing it, and then another family in power
the Pendletons, the Coopers, the Blossoms,
the Lodges.
So
now
here,
are in the mix.
Now they're like coming back up. So all of the episodes from Riverdale. No, I am not mad at this theory at all. No, because here's what I was thinking. Every single episode has been named after a famous noir film.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rest of the season is going to be, but I feel like the finale episode is going to be called Chinatown.
Yes.
Because that's...
Maple syrup land grab.
And by the way, our producer is literally going like this behind the camera.
Yes. Yes.
You're my sister, you're my mother, you're my sister, you're my mother, because we still don't know what's up with Molly Ringwald.
We have no idea. And we think that probably she's a Blossom.
I think something is going on with that, like something for sure. There's too many damn redheads in this town.
Too many redheads for one small town.
Redheads.
It doesn't make sense. It's not natural.
It doesn't. It's not natural. But I seriously think that is...
Like, it's a maple syrup land grab genetic anomaly town.
I see the sticky maple. And you know what? Here's something that we have not talked about at all. What happened to that dude, Chuck?
You know what we haven't talked about?
What?
How much I want to be a redhead.
We're all going to come in with dyed red hair at the end of the season. We're Blossoms.
Which is going to be Cheryl.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so,
From
her
Betty
mouth
to
is so
Cheryl.
amazing.
Oh my God.
But where's Chuck? Like, where's Sticky Maple Chuck?
Where's Sticky Maple? I mean, part of me thinks, did Betty go back and actually boil him alive and kill him? No, I'm just kidding. I don't think she did that. He just isn't around at this point, and I think that probably he was just an ancillary character that we don't really care about once he served his purpose of being the jerk. You don't think so?
Well, we still haven't had more Ethel, which is weird. We haven't had any more with Chuck.
We're getting a little more Reggie.
I found out about Reggie, but we'll get there at the end. I feel like he had such a major plot point in episode 3. I figured in episode 7 he would come back around, and he didn't. And I'm wondering if maybe in episode 8, 9, something like Chuck's got to figure back in.
Yes.
Like he has to.
I think he does, but I think right now, first of all, there's so many characters to deal with just between the main characters from the original series.
Yeah.
And their families.
They cray.
And the families, which are crazy.
And the crazy
all
machinations of those
that are happening.
Yeah.
And how they have slowly, I think that it's just been a big cycle of like dysfunction and pain and them screwing each other that has led eventually to Jason Blossom's supposed murder.
Do you want to know the answers to
Yes.
those questions? Okay. So, question number 1, is Jason Blossom actually dead?
Yes.
The answer was yes. He's
Damn it.
actually dead.
Is he a zombie?
No, he's not a zombie, but he's actually dead. Question number 2, where the hell is Reggie? This is just dumb because it's like pure LA. Reggie was cast in 13 Reasons Why, which is the Netflix series with Selena Gomez. And he had to be shooting both shows at the same time. So he was actually supposed to play a much bigger role and was going to be a very prime suspect, which leads me back to why is Chuck.
Did he kill?
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if this was like a football team vengeance thing.
Oh,
But again, this also goes to, we still have Kevin, like wonderful, delightful, not in the show enough gay Kevin. And I'm like, was there some sort of thing going on where like one of the characters wanted to cover up?
I mean, I feel like Jason Blossom, and now that we're finding about so much more about Cheryl and Jason and how traumatic their childhood was, I am convinced that he was having sex with everyone. Like, I think he
like, where's Miss Grundy? Miss Grundy has been gone for way too long. Like, we need to know where she went off in her Lolita mobile. Yeah, there's just...
She's still a suspect as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Well, there's alibis piling up. You've got the Fred Andrews alibi for Jughead.
You ain't got no alibi.
But you're beautiful. Everybody on the CW is beautiful.
Yes, like ridiculously beautiful.
Like, there's so many things. Like the fact that Fred and FP had a car called the Shaggin' Wagon, that there's a club in Riverdale that's open on school nights that like all the kids go to. There was just a number of really, really shocking moments in this episode. But the biggest takeaway for me was the answer to the final question, which is Jughead an unreliable narrator?
Okay, do you want me to guess?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. He's not. He is not an unreliable narrator, and Cole Sprouse apparently is lovely and amazing and totally great and fantastic. Blah, 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 blah. So that theory...
He still could be...
Oh, look at that Fache!
He still could be a reliable narrator and narrating this from jail because he's either been framed or taken the fall for his dad, who was also framed. Twist.
Interesting. Twist.
You know who else is beautiful?
Who?
You.
Stop, you.
It's true, you.
Stop.
No,
Stop,
you.
Stop.
You.
Ah, she's the Cheryl Blossom of these things.
No.
Now, here's the bummer news. March 30th, y'all. That's the next time we're going to get an episode.
That's bullshit.
But you know what's great news? It got renewed for season 2.
Yay.
Season 2. So we're going to be doing this a lot. But in the meantime, new theories, have any developed for you, Miss Roth-Cornett?
You know, it's interesting because I'm starting to really think that Polly is bonkers and that her parents are terrible people, but I'm starting to think that Polly actually is not altogether there. And there's a piece of me that even kind of wonders if she's actually pregnant with Jason's child. Twist, she probably is. I'm not saying she's not.
Whoa. Wow.
But it seemed like the way that he was running off, like maybe he really was running off, and the grandmother said it, that he was running off to marry her.
Sure.
But it just, there's so many layers to how he was running off that don't make sense to me.
Interesting. Well, my theory for this week is penultimate episode, the episode before the finale. I think we are going to see Skeet Ulrich take the fall in order to help his son, because I think they are setting up Jughead for the fall.
And then Skeet Ulrich takes the fall for Jughead because Jughead was set up. Twist, so it's different than what I said.
Exactly. And then I think it's about him becoming a better dad. And then in episode 13, which I believe will be called Chinatown, we're going to see that this has all been, like you said, a giant maple syrup land grab.
It has been, okay, this is my actual theory, is the giant maple syrup land grab.
It's a great theory.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to retract my previous theory. I think Polly is pregnant with his kid.
I liked that, though. For the minute and a half that it existed in our world, I liked it.
It was a good theory for a minute.
But we want to know,
totally not true.
What are your theories? What do you want me to ask my friend the next time we get together? Let us know. You can tell us in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. You can tweet me at Sasha Pearlraver, her at Roth-Cornett. Make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. We'll see you March 30th. 31st. Something like that.